never thought a simple camping trip could turn into a nightmare. It was supposed to be a weekend getaway with my friends, just us and the great outdoors. But little did I know, we were about to face something far more terrifying than we could have ever imagined. We arrived at the campsite late in the evening, the sun beginning to set behind the tall trees that surrounded us. As we set up our tents and started a fire, the atmosphere was peaceful and serene. We laughed, told stories, and cooked hot dogs over the flames. It was the perfect start to our trip. But as the night went on, things began to feel off. The air grew colder and the wind picked up, rustling the leaves and making the fire dance wildly. We all shrugged it off as just a change in the weather, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching us. As we settled into our tents for the night, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. I lay in my sleeping bag, staring up at the dark ceiling of the tent, listening to the sounds of the forest. That's when I heard it, a low growling coming from outside. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. I woke up my friends, but they didn't hear anything. They told me it was probably just a bear, but I knew it was something far more sinister. Despite my fears, I eventually drifted off to sleep, only to be jolted awake by the sound of something scratching at the side of my tent. I held my breath, trying to stay as quiet as possible, but then the scratching turned into a loud, guttural snarling. I could feel my heart racing, and I knew I had to do something. With trembling hands, I unzipped the tent and slowly poked my head out. I peered into the darkness, and my blood turned to ice. Standing just a few feet away was a creature unlike anything I had ever seen. It was tall, with matted fur and glowing red eyes. It let out another deafening roar, and I knew I had to get out of there. I woke up my friends again, this time in a panic. They could see the terror in my eyes and immediately began packing up our things. We were just about to leave when we heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the direction of the campfire. It was one of our friends who had gone to the bathroom and never returned. Without hesitation, we grabbed our things and ran, not looking back until we were miles away from that cursed campsite. But our nightmare was far from over. We soon realized that we were being hunted by that same creature that had terrorized us at the campsite. It seemed to be everywhere we went, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. We tried to call for help, but our phones had no signal. We were completely alone, with no way of escaping this horror that seemed to be following us. We were exhausted, scared, and on the brink of giving up when we stumbled upon an abandoned cabin deep in the woods. We thought we were safe, but we were wrong. The creature had followed us there and was now scratching and snarling at the door, trying to break in. We frantically searched the cabin for any weapons or means of protection, but there was nothing. We were defenseless against this monster. Just when we thought all hope was lost, we heard the sound of a helicopter overhead. We ran outside, waving our arms and screaming for help. The creature was distracted by the noise, and we took our chance to make a run for it. As we were lifted to safety, I looked down and saw the creature staring up at us with those glowing red eyes. I knew then that we had narrowly escaped with our lives. We later learned that the creature was a werewolf, a creature of the night that only appeared during the full moon. It had been stalking us since we arrived at the campsite, waiting for the perfect opportunity to attack. We were lucky to have made it out alive. That camping trip was supposed to be a fun and relaxing getaway, but it turned into the most terrifying experience of my life. I'll never forget the fear and adrenaline that coursed through my veins as we were hunted by a creature straight out of a horror movie. Needless to say, I'll never be going camping again.